I'm going to talk about children's. When speaking about a child, we're going to define it as anyone under the age of 18. So to begin, I'm going to show you a short video that I found to help explain what children's rights are.
Okay.
Hey, Farah, where have you been? Haven't seen you in a few days.
Hi, Ravi. Hi, Maymay. Yeah, my mom sent me to a class that taught me about children's rights.
Child rights class? Boring.
Yeah, I thought it would be boring too, but instead, it was actually quite interesting. I had a good time and also learned a lot of cool stuff there. What do you actually learn in children's rights class? I learned that every child has rights. Really? By the way, what are rights? Rights are things every child needs to live a full and happy life, no matter who they are or where they live. Around the world and in Asia, it is called the Convention of the Rights of the Child. In short, it's called CRC. Have you heard about something called CRC, for rights for children like you and me? All the countries in the world decide to follow so you and me can have a beautiful tomorrow. Let's get to know about CRC, a better future for you and me. Wow!
I never knew that.
What are some of our rights in the CRC? It is quite simple, actually. All of us have four main rights. Right to survival, right to protection, the right to development, and the right to participation. For example, right to survival means all children have the right to a happy and healthy life, nutritious food, clean water, clean air, and a clean environment. Curry and rice, noodles or pies, loaded with vitamins that's good for you. These are my nutritious, healthy meals. Veggie or cake, potatoes and steak, whatever you like, make sure it's great. These are my nutritious, healthy meals.
Oh, now I get it. No wonder my school canteen always keeps the canteen clean and only serves nutritious healthy food. It's super yummy too.
Ravi, I want to know more. Farah, what do you mean by the right to protection? That means, children, we have the right to be safe from all types of harm. Like, nobody can hurt you, touch you in an uncomfortable way, even if it is on the internet or on your phone. Nobody is allowed to hurt us, even people I know?
It means we have the right to be protected from anything that makes us feel uncomfortable and unsafe. Hey, Maymay, why do you look so sad suddenly?
Nothing.
We are your good friends, right? You can tell us if you have any problem.
Yeah, Maymay, don't be afraid. Tell us. Well, there are these bunch of older girls in my school who keep making fun of me. They even call me Fetty and other mean names, and not only in school, but even in SMS messages sent to me when I'm using the internet. They also take photos of me and share it with others. I am scared. Oh no! That's so mean and it's wrong! You have the right to say no to the bullied and to tell someone you trust so you can get help. Remember, you always have the right to be protected and be safe. Wow! Thanks, Farah. I feel much better after telling you. Ew!
See, I told you we are your good friends. Farah, you said something about the right to participation. What is that?
That means You have the right to be involved in activities or to share your opinions on issues that are about you, and a right to having a name and a nationality.
Even when some people say that children should be seen and not heard?
Yes, you have the right to participate. For example, you can start a project online with friends to improve something in the world.
Oh, okay. There is one more right you mentioned. What is that?
Oh, that is right to development. Huh? Okay. For example, where and how do you learn things?
In school and when playing with my friends?
Yep, that means you are getting smart by learning things. That is an example of development. You remember we met Brian that day working with his father and not going to school? Well, he actually has the right to go to school and learn because he's still young like us. He also has the right to play at his age.
Oh, now we understand. You know what, Farah? I learned something new from you today. I didn't know that we had all these rights.
Yeah, you also kind of helped me with my problem. Thanks. Hey, Ravi, I told you the lesson was not boring. And Maymay, always remember, we all have the right to say no when we feel unsafe and uncomfortable. You can also tell until you find someone who can help you. Of course I will. Thanks, Farah.
Yeah, thanks, Farah.
You're welcome, guys. Let's play catch. Sure.
So that was just a video explaining some of the rights that the kids have, and I'm gonna go more in depth in when I continue with this PowerPoint. So, children have the right to not be discriminated against no matter what language they speak, whether they're a boy or girl, if they have a disability. Children have the right of the adult making the best decision for the child. Government should make sure that children are protected by their parents, caregivers, and places looking after children such as daycares and schools. Children have the right to be alive. Governments must make sure that children survive and develop in the best way possible. Children have the right to be officially recognized by the government. And children have the right to their own identity, a record of who they are, which includes their name, nationality, and family relations. Children have the right to have their families together unless they're not being properly looked after. And then children have the right to be put into a home where they will be looked after. Children have the right to contact parents across countries. The government must let the child and parents travel to stay in contact and be together. Children have the right to share freely with others what they feel, what they think, and what they learn. Children have the right of freedom of thought and religion. Children have protection of privacy. That includes being online and stuff like that as well. Children have the right to access information, so they have the right to go to school, they have the right to get information from the library, they have the right to get the information from online. We need to be providing that stuff to all the children. They have the right to be protected from violence that's either within their home or outside their home. Children have the right to the best health care possible, which includes clean water to drink, healthy food, a clean and safe environment to live. So we need to make sure the children are in a place that's got heat, it's got air, that's got everything that they need to be healthy. Children have the right to an education. Here's a quote from the Institute for Statistics. It says, important work has been done to progress children's rights and early children education. However, more could be achieved. Globally, 64 million children of primary school age or younger do not access education. So, lots of places around the world, children aren't getting the education that they have the right to. So we need to make sure that we're trying to find ways to make sure they are getting their rights. Here's a quote I found online. It says, in the first place, it is a standard principle of child welfare law and policy that the best interest of a child should be promoted. Article 3.1 of the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Children states that in all actions concerning children, whether undertaken by public or private social welfare institutions, courts of law, administrative authorities, or legislative bodies, the best interest of the child should be the primary consideration. So that means in any way possible, we should try to be doing things that's in the best interest of the child, that's in law. So children are given lawyers and stuff in court if they're having to go to court against their parents or for any other reasons. So here's the timeline of children's rights. It says in 1830, the United States began to regulate and limit child labor, so children wasn't allowed to work in coal mines as much, and we was trying to regulate more, like not working all the time. In 1924, the League of Nations adopts the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. The short document recognizes that mankind owes to the child the best that it has to give. The Declaration and the precursor to later child's right measures by the United Nations. So that was a big step in getting children's rights. In 1959, the UN adopts an expanded Declaration of the Rights of Children that was off of the 1924 one. 1962, the publication of a study on battered child syndrome in the U.S. leads to statutes making the reporting of child abuse and neglect mandatory for certain professionals such as doctors, teachers, and social workers. So, with our degree, we will be mandated workers. So, if we ever see any type of abuse or we hear a child talking about any type of abuse, so we need to report that to the police or to our higher-ups. In 1973, Marian Wright Edelman found the Child Defense to conduct research and lobby for child welfare and rights in the U.S. In 1974, the U.S. Congress passes the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act to fund state-level development of child protective services. The law is amended in 2010 to address issues around trafficking and then again in 2016 to incorporate the needs of the children affected by substance abuse. In 1989, the UN adopts the Convention of Rights of the Child, which has been ratified by more countries than any other human rights agreement. In 1994, U.S. Ambassador to the UN signs the Convention of the Rights of the Child on behalf of the U.S. The convention has yet to be ratified by government. In 1999, the UN adopts the worst form of child labor convention. 2000, the UN adopts protocols preventing child prostitution, child pornography, the sale of children, and the involvement of children in armed conflict. These were unanimously ratified by the U.S. Senate in 2002. The convention contains 4 general principles which are cross-cutting and thus relevant to child protection. One of them, the right to life, survival, and development under Article 6, forms the very basis for the child's right to protection from all forms of maltreatment. The term development should be interpreted in its broadest sense to encompass the child's physical, mental, spiritual, moral, and social development. The right to non-discrimination under Article 2 is an important safeguard against arbitrary treatment. The right of children under Article 3:1 to have their best interest taken into account as a primary consideration in all actions concerning them is crucial for all decision making. It requires precisely that each child is treated individually and is highly relevant for the child protection system. Children's rights under Article 12 to express their views in decision making and have them given due weight is vital, both their feelings and being involved in their own case with the aim of reaching a decision. So here's the child's rights, to be treated fairly, have a say, decisions affecting you, to live and grow healthy, have people do what's best for you, privacy, find out information, express yourself, and help and protection you need. Children's rights is an important topic because we're there to protect the children. Teaching about all these rights help give us a better understanding of what rights children have and examples on how to give these rights to the kids. So we need to make sure we are being the voice for the kids, but we need to make sure that we're doing that in a way that's for the best interest of them. And here's just some of the references. There's a lot of good articles that you can look at, and a lot of books also that's available.